Okay, so you will have gotten this today in class. Um, this packet you're going to work through and you're going to develop your checkbook register. So under the directions here, you'll see each day is also a transaction, and you can just type it in when you open up your book register. You just type in the dates as you see them. So again, each direction is also a transaction. So as you scroll down, you'll see the first one says enter the paycheck for 154.01. September 4th is record a debit card. September 6th is write a check. As you scroll through the pages, you'll see there are checks for you to fill out. Okay, so right here, you'll sign your name. It says to use Sally Smith's name, but just use your name instead. You don't have to worry about using Sally Smith. The deposit slip is crossed out, so don't worry about the deposit slip. Now, this is where people get confused. They always look at the debit card receipts and think that that is a check. It's not a check. It's no different than if you went to the store and bought something with your debit card and then you'd get a receipt. So this is just a receipt, and you'll notice that it matches up. September 4th, all right, the gas and go, that matches up with a set of instructions. So when you scroll up to September 4th, there's your recorded debit card transaction for $15.78. So make sure that those match up. You don't want to put the gas and go as a check. The check is separate. Notice too the 501, check 501. That will match up with your instructions right here, September 6th. Write a check 501. All right. So you want to make sure that you're matching those up. Now, some of the pages on this handout that is on Polaris are deleted from your packet, and that's because you're going to be doing those through a Google form, or you're going to be making sure that things balance up. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this because you're doing that online. All right, so you want to make sure that you're looking at your bank statement, and you want to make sure that when you go through this, everything matches up the way that it should. Okay, so looking at your checkbook register, this is just like we were doing yesterday. When you go through, you'll type in your dates, you'll type in your description, okay, whether it's a withdrawal or a deposit, and then whether something is cleared or pending. So if you looked at the instructions on Polaris, you'll see that I mention, all right, amounts that appear on the check register and the bank statement should be labeled with a C in the cleared column. So anything that shows up on both your checkbook register and your bank statement, all right, those are going to be labeled as cleared. So this is your bank statement here. Okay, so any items that show up, whether deposits or they are withdrawals, whatever shows up there, that is going to be labeled as cleared, a cleared transaction. Anything else, items that appear on the check register but not on the bank statement, should be labeled with a P for pending. Okay, so anything that does not show up on the bank statement but does show up here, it will be labeled with a P for pending. So you would just type in P, and then that will make that effect. Okay, it should turn pink. There it goes. You are going to have two items. There will be two items that would be listed as pending only. So just make a mental note of that, or if you want to write that down, that's fine. But there is going to be only two items that are pending only. Now, what you want to do in order to do this correctly, my advice is to go through all the transactions that you see in your directions. Go through all of your directions and write them all down. Write them all down in your checkbook register first. Get all that stuff taken care of. Then go through, write out all of your checks. So you're going to sign off on this check, and then you're going to write out these checks here. Make sure that you get all of them filled out, and then check your bank statement here, and then go through the process of balancing your checkbook. So the easiest ways to do this is to go line by line. So you would check to see, is my deposit for 151 or 154.01, is that on my bank statement, or is that on my checkbook register? So I would go through and I would check if it is. And if it is, then I clear it. If it's not, then I make it pending. Okay. So then you would go down to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. Okay. So that's how you would work through this. So just to give you a quick example. All right. So September 2nd is the paycheck. So I would type in 9/2, and that's my paycheck, and that's a deposit for 154.01. All right. So now I got to check, is this on my bank statement? So I look, I scroll down. You'll have your package, so you'll be able to see this easier. I look at my bank statement. That's a deposit. Is it on my bank statement? Yes, it is. It's right there. So now I know that that's a cleared amount. All right, and now I have an update here. Okay. The most important thing to realize here is that your actual account balance and your bank account balance are going to be different. They're going to be different because you're going to have two items that are pending only. So that means, this is what I was talking about yesterday, your actual account is going to be different from what the bank is telling you that you have. Remember, if you write a check or there's something that that hasn't hit your bank account, you've got to still account for that money. So you're going to have two different amounts here. So don't freak out if that's the case. You should have two different amounts. Okay. You want to, again, you're going to look for those two pending items. As you go through this, you should find that. Okay. But this is how you work through this. And then I can answer any questions that comes up next week. So if you have any pressing questions, just let me know. But this should be a good way for you to get started, or if you missed class, you have an idea on how to complete this. The review questions you'll find on the Google form. All right, so just make sure you select the Google form. You'll make a copy also of the checkbook register as well. So this should help you in the event that you've got any questions or you're not real sure. But you'll have the day to work on it.